Welcome students. Now the second part of UV visible spectroscopy. In previous lecture we have discussed the different properties of electromagnetic radiations, then spectrum, then absorption spectroscopy, definition of spectroscopy, different methods of spectroscopy. Okay. In that we have discussed absorption spectroscopy and emission spectroscopy, then atomic spectroscopy and molecular spectroscopy, etc. Now in this second part we are going to discuss the contents are, first we will discuss UV and visible radiation ranges, then principle of UV visible spectroscopy, electronic excitation, absorption spectrum, chromophore, auxochromes and the spectral shift. So these are the points which we are try to cover today in our lecture. So friends and students, if you are new to this channel, then subscribe this channel, click on the bell icon so that you will get the more and more videos. Okay. If you like this video, you can share to your friends and colleagues. So this is UV visible spectroscopy. Now it is a electronic spectroscopy. So this is the one state definition of electronic spectroscopy. Now if you want to define the UV visible spectroscopy in one sentence, then we can say that it is a electronic spectroscopy. Why it is so called? Because in UV visible spectroscopy the transitions takes place in the valence electrons or the electrons present on a atom. That's why it is also called as the electronic spectroscopy. Okay. Now next, UV and visible radiation ranges. Okay. So these are the ranges, UV and visible ranges. Now it is given that in UV radiation range, the UV radiation is starts from 180 nanometer to 380 nanometer. So this is the range, okay, for the UV. Now this 180 to 380, or simply you can remember that is it is from 200 to 400 nanometer. Okay, this also correct. Okay, so for our easy understanding, we can remember it as a 200 to 400, and the visible radiation range, this range, it starts from 380 nanometer to 780 nanometer. So for our convenience, we can remember it as a 400 to 800 nanometer. Okay, this is also correct. Okay, we can, for our convenience, we can remember it as a 200 to 400 for UV radiation and 400 to 800 for the visible radiation. So this is the UV and visible radiation. Now before the 200, means before the 200, there is a vacuum ultraviolet radiations. Okay, so these vacuum ultraviolet radiations, they are from 1 to 200 nanometer. Okay, so this is called as a vacuum. Okay, so these radiations from 1 nanometer to 200 or 180 nanometer, these are called as the vacuum ultraviolet radiation. Why it is called vacuum? Because the interaction of the radiation and matter, it is to be done in vacuum, means without pressure. Okay, without the pressure, because in this range the oxygen atom which are present in the air, they are going to absorb the radiation. That's why this study can be carried out in a vacuum condition, okay, or without pressure condition. That's why they are known as a vacuum ultraviolet radiation. Now next point, electronic excitation. Okay, electronic excitation. See what happen when a continuous radiation passes through the transparent material. A portion of radiation may be absorbed. If residual radiation passes through the prism, it yields a spectrum with gap in it, that is called as the absorption spectrum. That is called as absorption spectrum. Okay. So see, this is the electronic excitation. When any compound or any matter, it is allowed to, okay, the radiations are allowed to pass through the any compound, then what happen, this radiation will interact with the matter, okay, and they will transfer some of its energy to the material or the matter, and when the transmitted light is allowed to split with the help of prism, then it will give a spectrum, and that spectrum will miss the absorbed light. Okay. तो हम जब किसी मटेरियल में से लाइट को पास करते हैं, ठीक है, तो कुछ फ्रैगमेंट ऑफ लाइट वो मटेरियल उसको एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है, और जब उस ट्रांसमिटेड लाइट को हम जब स्प्लिट करेंगे तो हमें जो लाइट एब्जॉर्ब हो गई है, मटेरियल ने जो लाइट को एब्जॉर्ब कर लिया है, तो वो लाइट वहाँ पर मिसिंग रहेगा, तो उसी को हम बोलते हैं एब्जॉर्प्शन स्पेक्ट्रम. ठीक है, इट इज कॉल्ड एज द एब्जॉर्प्शन स्पेक्ट्रम. नाउ व्हाट हैपन विथ, okay, so what actually happen in the atom, as a result of energy absorption, atoms or molecules passes from state of low energy, that is ground state, to state of high energy, that is excited state. Okay, so this actually happens in the atom, that when electrons they are exist in their shell, valence shell, okay, so they will be in a ground state or low energy state or the stable state. Okay, so for any electrons to be stable, it should occupy less energy or minimum energy, so that it will be stable. Now when radiation interact with the atom, then these valence electrons will gain some of the energy from the radiation, and they will become more energetic. Okay, their energy level will be increases. Then due to this energy level increasing, these electrons will be shifted to the next high energy level orbit. Okay, that is called as the excited state. Okay, see, this happens in the electron, that suppose this E means energy, and this E of the ground state. Okay, now at this moment the electrons are stable, they are having the minimum energy, and they are stable, and they are revolving around their own orbit or axis. But when the electrons is strike or counteract with the radiation, then they will absorb some of energy, and due to this absorption, these stable electrons they shift from ground state to the excited state. So this is the excited state of the electrons. Okay, and the energy difference between these two states, it is called as the delta E. Delta means difference, E means energy. So this delta E is equal to excited energy of the excited state minus energy of the ground state. Okay, so this actually happens when an electron absorb energy from the radiation. Okay, this is clear. Now we will see, in UV visible spectroscopy, absorption of electromagnetic radiation result in transition between electronic energy level. As molecule absorb energy, an electron is promoted. Okay, here the electrons is promoted from occupied orbital to unoccupied orbital of the high energy. See, at the ground state, the electrons they occupied a lowest energy orbital, that is called as a occupied orbital. Okay, and when these electrons they gain energy from the radiation, then they shifted to the excited state, and that excited state it is called as a unoccupied orbital, because it is a high energy level orbital. That's why it is called as a unoccupied orbital. Okay, generally most probable transition is from highly occupied molecular orbital, that is abbreviated as a HOMO, to lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, that is abbreviated as a LUMO. And this energy difference between most electronic transition is vary from 125 to 650 kilojoules per mole. Okay. So actually this happen, the stable and occupied orbital is the HOMO, highly occupied molecular orbital. This is the stable orbital. Okay. Now the electrons are exist in this state, but when the electrons gain energy, they shifted to the lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, which is abbreviated as a LUMO, that is a excited state of the electron. Okay. And the energy difference between these two states, it is from 125 to 650 kilojoules. Okay. Now for most of the molecules, the lowest energy occupied orbitals are sigma orbitals, which correspond to sigma bonds. See, in every molecule there are three types of electrons are there. One is the sigma electrons, second is the pi electrons, and third is the non-bonding electrons. Okay. Now sigma electrons, they form sigma bonds, and we know that the sigma bond is very strong bond. So if any bond is to be become strong, then there must be a very energy. Okay. That's why the sigma bonds or sigma electrons, they have very less energy, minimum energy. That's why they are more stronger and more stable. So this is the meaning of this sentence. The lowest energy occupied orbitals are sigma orbitals. Now the pi orbitals, it lies the energy somewhat more than the sigma electrons and less than the non-bonding electrons. So this is the intermediate stability. Okay. This is the pi electrons or the pi bonds. Now third type of electrons are non-bonding electrons. What do you mean by non-bonding electrons? Non-bonding electron means the electron which are not participating in the bond formation. Okay. We know that some elements like sulfur, nitrogen, oxygen, they have some lone pair of electrons on the on their structure. Okay, lone pair of electrons, and this lone pair of electrons, they are not participating in the bond formation. Okay, so these electrons, they are called as the non-bonding electrons. So due to the absorption of energy, radiation energy, these electrons also shifted from ground state to the excited state. Okay. So these are the three orbitals or three electrons which are present in a given molecules. Okay. Now, okay, the unoccupied or anti-bonding orbitals, sigma asterisks or pi asterisks, are orbitals of highest energy. Okay. तो यहाँ पे क्या किया हमने कि जो सिग्मा ऑर्बिटल है उसको हमने नाम दिया सिग्मा, एंड जो सिग्मा एस्टेरिस्क है, it is a anti-bonding of the sigma orbital, means it is the same orbital but with highest energy or high energy, that is a anti-bonding orbital. Okay. So it is denoted by sigma asterisk, and the pi orbital is denoted by the pi asterisk. Okay. This is the asterisk. Okay. This is not a star. Okay. This is not a star. It is pronounced as a asterisk. Okay. Now this is this at asterisk. Okay, this is clear. Now we will see this phenomena in the form of a diagram, so we will easily understand. Okay. Now this green part, okay, these green lines, these indicate the ground state. What this indicate? This is the ground state of the orbital, means stable state of the orbital. Now the lowest energy level is of the sigma bonding, somewhat intermediate energy level is for the pi electrons or pi orbital, and even higher energy is for the non-bonding electrons or the non-bonding orbital. Now these three orbitals, they are as the ground state orbital. Okay. Now anti-bonding orbital, so these two are the anti-bonding orbital. It is denoted with the name sigma asterisk and the pi asterisk. They are called as anti-bonding orbital because they are the unstable orbital, and electrons will back into the ground state by releasing the energy. Okay. Now let us see the electronic transitions which are taking place in the molecule. Okay. The very first transition which are showing in the right side, this one. Okay. Now this transition is from sigma bonding to sigma anti-bonding. Okay. So here a sigma electron, when it gain sufficient energy, okay, then it will be, or it will shift from its ground state to the excited state, to its excited state. Okay. So how much energy will required for sigma to sigma asterisk transition? So this difference of this level, okay, this is the energy difference, delta E. So this much energy is required for an electron to shift from ground state sigma to excited state sigma orbital. So this is very high energy. Okay, this difference is very high. Okay, so a large amount of energy will be required for an electron from sigma orbital to shift into the sigma asterisk orbital. Okay, whereas second transition is from sigma to pi asterisk. Okay, this one, this is the sigma to pi asterisk. Okay, is it also possible that an electron from sigma orbital can jump into the pi anti-bonding orbital? Okay, this is also possible, and it requires somewhat less energy. Okay, the difference of these two levels is somewhat less than this energy difference. Okay, so as less energy is required for an electron to shift from sigma orbital to the pi asterisk orbital. Okay. Now third transition, this is from pi orbital or pi electron to the sigma asterisk electron or sigma asterisk orbital. Okay. Now this also required somewhat intermediate energy. Okay, because the difference of these two level is this much. Okay, it is just similar to this level, or it may be very, okay, not much vary, okay, slightly vary from this level. So sigma to pi asterisk or pi to sigma asterisk. Okay, these two levels are somewhat similar. So same energy will be required for electron to move from pi to sigma asterisk. Okay, this is the third transition. Now fourth transition, where the non-bonding electrons, okay, these are the non-bonding electrons, and this level is a non-bonding orbital. Now electrons in the non-bonding orbital, it will move from its ground state to the sigma asterisk state or anti-bonding orbital. Now it required this much energy. See the difference, this much energy is required for electrons to move from ground state to the excited state. Okay, this is the fourth transition. Now fifth transition is that where the pi electrons or pi orbital electrons, they will shift from their ground state, from there to the anti-bonding pi orbital, that is a pi asterisk orbital. So this much energy will be required for this transition. This much energy will be required for this transition. So somewhat less energy is required. Okay, and now the last transition is sixth number transition, where the non-bonding electrons will shift towards the pi asterisk transition. So only this amount of energy is required for this transition. So we can conclude that in electronic transitions, most of the transition are due to n to pi asterisk, because very less amount of energy is required for this type of transition. So most of the items or most of the molecule will undergo this type of transition, that is called as the n to pi asterisk transition. Okay, so this is clear. So how many types of transition are possible? How many types? So there are total 6 type of transitions are possible. Okay, which are the 6 types? First type is sigma to sigma asterisk, second type is sigma to pi asterisk, third type is pi to sigma asterisk, fourth is the n to sigma asterisk, then pi to pi asterisk, and the last one is the n to pi asterisk. Okay, so if we look this diagram, the right part means the right transition, sigma to sigma asterisk required highest energy, whereas in the left side n to pi asterisk required very less energy. Okay, so these are the different electronic transitions which are possible in a molecule. Okay, this is clear. Now next, now we will see which type of transitions are possible in which compounds. Okay, so here in the form of a table I am going to explain that in alkanes, in alkanes which type of transition are possible. So alkane means what? C, single bond C, these are the compounds. Okay, and this valency of carbon is 4, so here 3 different compounds will be there, either hydrogen will be there or any compound which will be denoted as a R. Okay, इसको हम R बोलेंगे, तो यहाँ पे या तो प्रोटॉन रहेगा, हाइड्रोजन, या फिर यहाँ पे कोई R रहेगा. But in these all compounds there is only single bond, no double bond is present in alkanes. Okay, that's why the only possible transition is sigma to sigma asterisk. Why? Because there is a no pi orbital and no n non-bonding orbital also is not there. That's why in alkanes the only possible transition is sigma to sigma asterisk. Okay, so we can say that for the electronic transition of the alkanes it required more energy or higher energy or the wavelength with high energy. Okay, now second, in second sigma to pi asterisk transition. Okay, so this type of transition will be occur in which type of compound? So it will be occur in those compounds where the pi electron should be present. Okay, so in which type of compounds the pi electrons will be present? So the compounds with double bonds. Okay, compound with the double bonds. So any compound with double bond or compounds with triple bond. Okay, compounds with the triple bond, it contain the pi orbitals or pi electrons. That's why these type of compounds undergo sigma to pi asterisk transition. So here example is given, that is in the carbonyl compounds. Okay, so carbonyl compound means C double bond O, it is a carbonyl compound. Okay, so any compound, any group or any compound which contain the functional group or one of the group is carbonyl group. Okay, so this is called as a carbonyl compound. Now in carbonyl compound sigma electrons are also there and pi electrons are also there. Okay, so this sigma to pi asterisk transition is possible in alkenes, alkynes, this also possible. Now third transition, pi to pi asterisk. Okay, this is a third transition. Now this type of transition only occur in the compound where double bonds are present. Okay, double bonds or triple bonds are present. So alkenes double bonds, alkynes triple bonds, carbonyl compounds, okay, and azo compounds. Azo means nitrogen compounds. Okay, these are the azo compounds. So here also double bonds are present between the two nitrogens. That's why this transition is possible. Okay. Now fourth transition is the n to sigma asterisk. Okay, n means non-bonding. So in this type of compound there must be a non-bonding electrons. Okay, so any heteroatom like sulfur, the nitrogen and oxygen. So these are the sulfur, nitrogen and oxygen. These are the heteroatoms. They are called as the heteroatoms, and these atoms contain the lone pair of electrons. Okay, non-bonding electrons or lone pair of electrons. That's why any compound which contain heteroatom, it will give the n to sigma asterisk transition. Okay, and n to pi asterisk transition means such compound which contain heteroatoms plus डबल बॉन्ड्स और ट्रिपल बॉन्ड्स. ओके, इसमें दोनों कंडीशन होना चाहिए. वन, द कंपाउंड शुड कंटेन हेटेरोएटम आइदर सल्फर, नाइट्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन, एंड सेकंड कंडीशन दैट इज the compound should contain double bonds or triple bond in their structure. Okay, so here example is given, all alkenes and alkynes containing heteroatoms. Okay, no simple alkenes and alkynes, only those alkenes or those alkynes which contain heteroatoms, they will give this type of transitions also. Okay, so this is the different transitions of the electrons. Is it clear? Okay, so I think this is clear. Now we will move to the next point, that is a selection rule. Okay, selection rules. Now selection rules means what? Selection rules means the forbidden transitions, means due to the arrangement of some atoms, some transitions are not possible, they are not allowed to take place. Okay, so that is called as the selection rules. Now in that, the first one is the transitions that involves change in the spin quantum number of an electron during the transitions are not allowed to take place. Okay, see what happens. Suppose if the electrons in the ground state is exist in a plus spin, means its revolution is a clockwise or spin is a clockwise. Okay, this is the positive plus sign, upward arrow. Okay, now after transitions, suppose if it is shifting to the excited state, and suppose its spin quantum number is changing. Okay, that is the spin is changing from clockwise to anti-clockwise, then this type of transition is not possible, or this is not allowed, and this is called as a forbidden transition. It is forbid. Okay, this transition is forbid. Now in most of cases, the n to pi asterisk transitions are forbidden type. Okay, n means non-bonding electron to the pi asterisk. Okay, so this transition sometimes it is a forbidden transitions, it is not allowed to take place.